Hello everybody, and welcome back to the second round of the VRS tournament series. I'm Lucas from the Lost Mine podcast, and in this game we have a Charizard mirror match. Both of these players are playing the Justified gloves, so there will not be a clear advantage for one of the Zard players. Lincoln on the right here is playing a cool tech. He's playing Radiant Serena. Very good card into Lost Box and Urshifu. So Lincoln is going first here. I like going second in the Zard matchup because you allow yourself to have a more consistent setup with the Arven, because it allows you to grab your VIP pass and your 4 Seal Stone. Makes it a lot easier to hit your turn 2 Pidgeot, which is all you really need with this deck. Lincoln just benching his Charmanders, automatically using Rotom. Tyler's turn now. Tyler should have the advantage. He does get to use Arven, which means he should have a very good setup. Level Ball, this will most likely be grabbing a Pidgey, if I had to guess. What? Did Lincoln draw 3 Arvens off of Rotom? That's kind of insane, man. That's kind of bonkers. So, Tyler does grab the Pidgey here. This should put Tyler in a good spot. He should be able to be the first one to develop a Pidgeot, depending on Lincoln's hand. Lincoln's hand does seem like it needs Arven to get anything going. What I'm trying to say here is that Lincoln will probably not be able to go Rare Candy, Zard, Boss the Pidgey. So we go Iono here, drawing 6. Justified Gloves is something I see straight away. Fire Energy, Rare Candy, Research. This is a good hand, but it does mean that you have to research away a Rare Candy, which isn't ideal at all. Tyler, on the other end, getting the Charmander down. Yeah, this is not looking amazing straight off the bat for Lincoln, but it's way too early in the game to determine who's winning or not. Ultra Ball, there you go. Okay, so we have something. We have the boss on the Pidgey. I wonder if Lincoln decides to go for that play, or if he just decides to get as many things as he can set up. Me personally, I'm a bit of a high roller. I probably shouldn't be doing it as much, but I would most likely KO the Pidgey on the bench, even if it might not even be the best play. Because I do want to not let Tyler get his Pidgeot out first, because that will just mean that Tyler gets to grab whatever he wants for the rest of the game, while Lincoln, on the other hand, would not be able to respond with that. So Tyler would be able to grab Iono in streams, you know what I mean? Tyler would be able to grab 3 Ionos in a row, and Lincoln would have to deal with every single one of them manually instead of just being able to Pidgeot for them. So being able to make Tyler also have to draw a bunch off of Iono will be very nice. I think that's what Lincoln's doing here, and I agree with the play, but yeah, I don't know. It might not be correct, but I would have done it in the situation. Yeah, it's looking like the best play for Lincoln, as Tyler will just need to hit so much more for the rest of the game. We have the research in hand, so we do not have to worry about bossing and then having nothing on the next turn. And we have enough setup so that next turn we can research, and we will not need to hit everything, as we do get another turn of this Charizard being out. So we boss the Pidgey, and it will just be a knockout. So I agree with this play wholeheartedly. I think this is the best thing you can do in this situation as Lincoln. So going over to Tyler's turn here, what do we see in this hand? That's not much from what I'm seeing. I'm seeing double vacuum, Vitality Band. I don't know, it might not be double vacuum, but I know that I saw a vacuum and a Vitality Band. Super Rod, Lost Vacuum, Boss's Orders, Fire Energy, Vitality Band is terrible for Tyler here. I think this is just a Boss Rotom kind of angle, yeah. No, yeah, Tyler doing what he can here, bossing the Rotom, hoping that Lincoln doesn't have anything. And getting the Arven off the top does mean that you can grab 4 Seal Stone for the energy. So you do have it guaranteed now. We can just attack another Charmander, and we're going to be way ahead in this game. Tyler needs a pretty good top deck to be able to compete at this point. And can hear searching through his deck. This might be... What's happening here? Did he prize his 4 Seal Stone? I can't see. Maybe he's deciding which item to grab. What item would I grab here? I'd probably grab, from what I can tell in his hand, what did he have in his hand again? Yeah, I was thinking there was probably some Zard in there. So Rare Candy 4 Seal Stone does actually, wait, this play is kind of sick. You can 4 Seal Stone with the Rotom, grab the Charizard, and then use Charizard to attach to Rotom to power it up. So at this point, we're going to have another Charizard powered up, and we're going to have retreated the Rotom. This is something that new players should keep in mind. Try to do as many things as you can in one play. So this play is both setting up another Charizard and letting your Rotom retreat into the other Charizard. So this is a very proactive way of thinking when playing Pokemon, and this is going to very heavily benefit Lincoln in this situation, because now we have a Charizard, another Charizard, and a Charmander with an energy on it. So this is very strong for Lincoln, not so good for Tyler. Tyler does not have enough in his hand to be able to combat this, I would think. Deciding where to put the energies. Okay, we're looking back at the hand. That's an Iono, I think. So in this situation, I would just put one energy on the Charizard, and what? Whoa, we didn't attach any other energies from Infernal Rain. That's kind of okay. Well, the Charmander does get knocked out. Lincoln is in a good situation anyway, but I am a bit confused on why we didn't go into the Charizard, why we didn't attach more energies from the Charizard. Just draw pass. This is terrible for Tyler here. This is just looking like a pretty good win for Lincoln here. Tyler would need I don't even know. He would need research. He would need to top deck research here and just draw so many things. Another Charmander gone? Like, this is fucking terrible. So we see the top deck. It's just, what was that? That was an Ultra Ball. So that does grab Luminion. So this is something here. We can grab something. Luminion would probably grab Research, and then you would attach a Forest Seal Stone to the Luminion and then Research. Just meaning that you are able to, you know, get enough cards in your hand and also have that Forest Seal Stone tutor, which is going to be very, very nice. Meaning that you can pull off pretty much any combo. Tyler only needs to hit one card off of the Research out of quite a few. You can either hit Charizard EX, Ultra Ball, or Rare Candy, and then you have a Zard set up. So we have Tyler is eyeing up the Luminion, sorry for the stutter, but, and I would assume he grabs Research, right? Luminous Sign, yeah. Do we see Research here? I would presume so. Just drawing enough cards to get a couple combos together. That's the only way I can see Tyler maybe having a chance here, or he could high roll an Iono. Actually, the more I think about it, more Iono. Yeah, Iono's looking good here. That's a good idea. I realized that right before he grabbed it. I think that you have to limit Lincoln's hand size here. So this is just going to be a Forest Seal Stone on Luminion and an Iono. The drawing of one less card here isn't a big enough deal to not lower Lincoln's hand size. Lincoln's hand is ginormous, and we know it has some, we know it most likely will have, you know, a Research or something along those lines to be able to deal with any combo Tyler throws at him. So disrupting the hand now is very important when we're trying to make a huge comeback like how Tyler is here. This game still looks very bad, but because Lincoln can just KO one Charizard and then boss a Luminion. So that's really the only thing you can do in this situation, though, as Tyler is go Iono and then try to attack with a Charizard if you hit any of the pieces. And I think that's what Tyler's going to do here. Just checking the discard pile, probably checking how many Charmanders he's down. So yeah, we do see the Iono coming down. I think this is Tyler's best play. I think this is really his only play too. So we see the draw 3 from Lincoln. That's an insane hand. That's a Forest Seal Stone, an Arven, and a Boss. Actually, it's not insane, but it is very strong, and he will be able to deal with any combos Tyler throws his way. Tyler, on the other hand, does have the Rare Candy Ultra Ball for Charizard, and will just be able to do that and attack the Zard. So this matchup is not over by any means, because there is still no Pidgeot on the board, so an Iono can be detrimental to both players here. This matchup kind of comes down to the first person to KO at Charizard EX, and neither player has done that yet. So Tyler can still win this game, and there are two free prizes on Lincoln's board. So Tyler's prize map can be KO Zard, KO Zard, KO Rotom, and that's a pretty good prize map. So this is not over for either player yet, because you can go attack Zard, they attack you, or attack Luminion, and then attack Zard, and then they punch back with a Zard. Then you justify gloves, or no, actually you don't even need to justify gloves because they'll be on one prize, which means you'll be able to do 330 into one of the Zards. So this matchup is not over at all. So I think Tyler is just going to slap the Zard. Yes, that is what is happening here. Lincoln is finding the dice in his dice box. Again, the PidgeyZard not being down is so crucial here. Iono is such a big card now in this matchup. So there's 270 on this active Zard, which means a Charmeleon can actually come into play, but that doesn't seem very ideal, as then they would be down on 2 prizes and not down to 1 prize where you can just 330 Charizards over and over again. So Lincoln here kind of just looking over what to do. What is his plan here? I think his plan should just be a swing into the Charizard, get some damage in. Maybe put down a Pidgey? But it might not even be worth it at this phase, because now whenever you set up a Pidgeot, the opponent's just going to boss and punch it. Eyeing up the Super Rod here. I think you would only want Super Rod. That's a pretty preemptive thing to grab, because Tyler's just going to be able to Iono it away at some point. So I think Lincoln would be grabbing Super Rod for the next turn, and that's completely fine. Just kind of getting ready, getting stuff ready for the next turn. Grabbing the Justified Gloves too. I like Justified Gloves. Justified Gloves is a very cool card. It allows you to always one-shot a Charizard at some point in the game, because you can one-shot a Charizard at 2 prizes with Justified Gloves or 1 prize. So it's pretty cool. Playing Super Rod now, just putting the 2 energies back in, that's kind of worth. I can see this. Needing the energies to maybe retreat, or maybe, no, yeah, you want energy so that you can Iono into the energies so that you don't need to hit the Rare Candy Zard. So Lincoln here, I don't see what else you would do here. I just think you shuffle and punch. And I think that's really the only thing you can do in this situation. Tyler is grabbing the dice, so that is what Lincoln did. I think this is a pretty good situation for Lincoln. You have damage on a Charizard, and you have Illuminating on the bench. You can go KO Charizard, KO Illuminating, and that just means you have a path to victory on board. So going over to Tyler here, I think the goal of Tyler's turn is to probably set up another Charizard, and then just swing into this current Charizard. I think that's the only way you can realistically win this game, because what you do is you go swing into Zard, and then if they don't have the Gust to KO the other Zard, then you can maybe Gust the Rotom? That's really the only line here. I don't know if Tyler has Boss in hand, but you could also just swing with this active Zard and then let it die, and then just swing into the other Zard and hope that Lincoln doesn't have the combo to hit it. Like the third Zard. Lincoln already has the energies in deck because he is Super Rodded on his last turn. So all he would need is a Rare Candy Zard to win the game. So we're seeing the Rare Candy and the Justified Gloves here. I think you just attach Justified Gloves preemptively, maybe? But I also think it's fine to hold it. In that situation, I kind of wanted to see discarding the Justified Gloves, because you're already setting up another Charizard, and you don't really need Justified Gloves at that point. So having Velocity could be very useful. But it also might not be too big of a deal. Having the Rotom in hand could deal with a few things, but I don't know. I just feel like Justified Gloves was something that might have been better to throw away than, say, Lost City. So we're Ultra Balling for the Zard, and we're Rare Candying into it, and we're flooding our board with energies. Tyler now has the attackers for the rest of the game, and this still doesn't look very good for Tyler, but Lincoln has a lose con. So I think Tyler just needs to play into putting Lincoln down to 1 prize and then Ionoing, but it might also just be worth to retreat and attack. But no, we're just going to see the attack here, and it's going to go over to Lincoln's turn. I think Lincoln just has to Iono and attack. I think you just have to do that, and then you have to hope that Tyler doesn't have the Iono in response. But I do see a lose con for Lincoln now. So Tyler is somehow clawed his way back into this game. So I think you promote the Zard here, and then you just... Yeah, okay, so the Radiant Serena is there. So I think you have to promote Zard, and then Iono, and just try to hit energy. So iron up the Justify gloves, that's just a good play. Makes it so that if you attach it to the Zard, makes it so that if Tyler, not the Zard, the Charmander, my bad, makes it so that if Tyler bosses or KOs this other Zard, then the Charizard can come in and KO a fresh Zard. That's why Justify Gloves is such a cool card. Justify Gloves is 30 more damage to the active Dark Pokemon. So what you do is, when a Charizard, like when you're in the mirror match as Charizard, and they are on 2 prizes, Justify Gloves makes it so that you can hit 330. So it's a very strong attack here. Do we hit the Fire Energy? I don't think we did. Yeah, wow. Okay, so we're just seeing the instant charge from Lincoln. Tyler now can win this game. Did Tyler have boss? Tyler is boss. Okay. No, yeah, we are in this game. If Tyler bosses the Rotom, and then he wins the game. Because then you have 2 Zards on board, and you only have 2 prizes. So when he knocks out a 2 prize, you immediately respond with 330 damage. The only way I could see a loss for Tyler here is if Lincoln pulled out a Iono Radiant Zard. So that's just not in lists anymore. So this should be the game for Tyler. Yeah, Tyler has game on board. And there you go, knocking out the Rotom. I don't see a way for Lincoln to come back here. I mean, we'll see what he can do. I think your only play here is to... Like, do you even have a play? I don't know if you have a play. Yeah. I don't think there's a play. Yeah, there you go. GG. No. So we're going into game 2 here. I think that Lincoln should choose to go second. The reason you want to go second with Charizard is because it is a inherently clunkier deck than a lot of decks in the format. So that extra consistency boost of Arven on the first turn is huge to guarantee a VIP pass. I'm surprised that Tyler was able to win the first game but it just goes to show how important it is to have a free search every turn with PidgeyZard. These 2 starter Pokemon aren't looking very good for Tyler or Lincoln, but Lincoln's is definitely way worse because Luminions now are just not an option the entire game. I have been in calls with friends before where they top deck an Ultra Ball playing Zard, and that is the only way they get set up. So it's so important to have the option of Luminion. And looking at Lincoln's hand here, there's a bit of glare. There is an Arven. Okay, so we are good. We are very okay with this hand. We have Arven Artisan. We are chilling. We also see the Radiant Screen and the Fire Energy. And yeah, so Tyler has the VIP pass. That's all you really need with Zard. This will be setting up your Rotom and your Charmander, especially because you have a level ball in hand. So you should have a board of Charmander, Pidgey, and Rotom at the end of this turn. Yeah, VIP pass, such a strong card, man. Very, very, very powerful card. Been a good card since the beginning of its time in the standard format. Inherently powerful card. You can only play it on the first turn, but it searches your deck for 2 basic Pokemon and puts them straight to the bench. That is absolutely nuts. We have never seen any card like it, and it's been played ever since it came out. Very, very strong card. So we see the Pidgey and the Charmander. No Rotom? It's kind of confusing. But, I mean, I guess his hand is quite good, so it might be good enough to not have to put down Rotom, which is pretty good in this matchup, to not have to put down a 2-prizer that they can just Gust KO. That's pretty clutch. It'd be a shame if Rotom was prized and I was hating on Tyler for not putting it down a Rotom. That'd be pretty ironic. But yeah, so we're seeing the level ball from Tyler, and this will probably be a second Charmander. I'm gonna look at the deck to see if he prized Rotom. No, I don't think he prized Rotom. This is a pretty heads-up play by Tyler, noting that he doesn't need to put down a Rotom, so he just doesn't. He just doesn't give his opponent the out to having a 2-prizer to KO, because most of the time, this prize mapping will include just 2-prizers. So having another 2-prizer to KO in that Rotom could absolutely mess up this prize map, because you're most of the time going to be KOing a Charizard and a Pidgeot and then maybe a Charizard or a Rotom. So getting rid of that Rotom and forcing Lincoln to go through at least 2 Charizards is very big. Very good play by Tyler here in this situation. His hand is good enough to justify not putting down the Rotom. So going on to Lincoln's turn, drawing the Pidgeot. So we should be seeing a turn 2 Pidgeot by both players here. And that means this game is going to be completely different than the first game. I mean, obviously. But this game, there's going to be less of a worry of being Iono'd by both players, because they can just Pidgeot for whatever they need to get out of that kind of situation. Lincoln here, I would assume this is a Forest Seal Stone and a Battle VIP pass. I mean, you could just grab the... I don't know if I even want Rotom here. At this point, it just is so bad to put down 2 prizes, because then they only need to KO one of your things. Like, they don't even need to KO a Charizard, because Charizard plays, like, 3 bosses orders. As we get the Battle VIP pass here, nothing, no tool. No tools there is pretty interesting. So, this Battle VIP pass here, double Charmander? I think he has another way to get a Pokemon out, so I think this will be fine. And the Rotom. Did we need Rotom here? Maybe. Maybe we did need Rotom here. So, Artisan going in for the Pidgey. I think we're going back in. We are not going back in. Okay, this puzzles me. Not grabbing the Forest Seal Stone and then benching the Rotom. Maybe the Forest Seal Stone's prized. Actually, maybe it's prized. But not grabbing a tool off of the Arven puzzles me, because it's just a card that's being thinned out of the deck. And there's no real reason to not grab the tool. Benching the Rotom here also sucks. Not having 2 Charmanders down. This is pretty bad for Lincoln if Tyler just gets this boss. What is his hand looking like? We see the Pidgeot. This is probably going... There might be... Okay, there's not the potential of KOing the only Charmander, but there is the potential of just KOing this active Luminion, which is so bad. We're just going to be able to KO the Luminion, and then if Lincoln doesn't get the Collapse Stadium, Tyler just doesn't care about the Charizard that Lincoln is most likely going to throw at him, and we'll just target the Rotom while it's still on the board. Because then that is 4 prize cards down, and then he only needs a couple prizes. But it also might not be a good play. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, because then Lincoln could respond with an Iono to a counter catcher to KO the Pidgeot. So, KOing the Luminion, very good play. But I do not know if I would KO the Rotom. The more I think about it, it might actually just be better to swing into the Charizard a few times, because if you boss the Rotom, then you can go Iono, counter catcher the Pidgeot, and then Tyler's just like, oh, I have no cards to work with, and just collapses. So we're seeing the rare candy Zard here. We will be seeing that. I think Tyler is grabbing the Charizard off the Pidgeot. Yes, very good, very good, very good. So now we just take 2 prize cards here, and we have a pretty good lead. We're just ahead in the we're just ahead in attacks. So yeah, so we Infernal Rain to the Jirachi. Infernal Rain is the ability that Charizard has when it comes into play. You attach 3 fire energy from your deck to your Pokemon in any way you like. Very powerful ability. Man, this card's insane. So, yeah, this is a pretty good situation for Tyler here. We're just going to be KOing the Luminion, and the prize wrap is in Tyler's favor at first glance here now. Yeah, there you go. So we're just KOing the Luminion. Taking the 2 prizes, and we're good to go. Lincoln starts his turn off by benching a Charmander. I think Lincoln's goal here should just be set up the Pidgeot, set up the Charizard, swing to the Charizard. That's all you really can do in this situation. And then once Tyler takes another knockout, Lincoln needs to take advantage of that as much as he can. He needs to go Rocks, he needs to go Iono, counter catcher, KO the Pidgeot. Because this prize mapping is looking like it's going to allow Lincoln to actually win this game. The more I'm looking at this, it's looking like Lincoln can win this game. Because Pidgeot, you will just swing into the Charizard, And if you don't swing into the Charizard and KO the Rotom, then you can go counter catch your Iono Pidgeot and just win. Because then they will not have enough cards to do stuff, and they will not have the Quick Search to save them. So, this is looking pretty good for Lincoln the more I look at this board state. We're just going to be able to swing into the Charizard, then the Charizard's going to swing back, then we're going to KO the Charizard, a Charizard's going to KO us back, then we're going to go Iono Counter Catcher, KO the Pidgeot, and then on the next turn, we're going to hit him with Justified Gloves. And that also depends on if Tyler puts down another Charmander. Because if Tyler doesn't put down another Charmander, which I mean he will Artisan another Charmander down into play. But you also might want to think about going Justified Gloves KO the Charizard instead of going Iono KO the Pidgeot. Because then Tyler can respond to the Justified Gloves back in this situation. So starting to turn off, I think the goal for Tyler here is to just swing into the Zard. Okay, there you go. So here's the Charmander. So it still doesn't look bad for Lincoln. Tyler taking a second to think here. I think your play here just has to be swinging to the Zard. So, playing the Arven, what do we think? What do I think he's grabbing off Arven? I think he probably is just grabbing the cards to set up another Zard. It's really all you can do here is just try to get as much stuff to deal with on your board as possible. Because Lincoln's still on 6 prize cards, so he's still going to have to deal with a couple of the things that Tyler throws at him. He's still going to have to deal with another Zard after this. So setting up this Zard preemptively is going to be very, very strong. Tyler preemptively putting on the second Zard is very big. In this matchup, you need to have the Zard, the second Zard, to be able to respond to the first Zard KO. That is very huge in this matchup, as you can just respond to it by either swinging back into the Zard or by KOing the Pidgeot. And Tyler is not going to be able to KO the Pidgeot here when his Zard goes down. But just having the second Zard is so huge for him because he's just going to be able to stay in the prize race. He's going to be able to attack the Zard and then attack with a different Zard and KO the other Zard. Shout out to Tyler for having these sick energies. These are pretty cool. I don't know if they're cooler than the Generations ones. No, these clear the Generations energies. What am I saying? I'm yapping. Okay, so Tyler will definitely just be charging up the bench Zard and attached to the other Charmander. Just because you got to have as many Zards going in this matchup, and putting it down 3, pretty strong. But I don't know if you ever actually are going to attack with 3 Zards. Most of the time, you're just going to attack with a Zard, and then they're going to boss a Pidgeot. So they only have to deal with 2 Zards most of the time in this matchup. So yeah, I think Tyler just responds with the swing here, I think. Attaching to the active, not to the active, to the bench Charmander with another pretty cool energy. And we're doing 180. So yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting from Tyler. Putting himself in the best situation he can. So Artisan, what do you think? What do I think he's grabbing here? I think he's grabbing probably a 3rd Charmander. If I had to guess, because then you're able to set up 3 Zards. And you play the Charmeleon in your deck to make it achievable to set up 3 Zards. There you go. So there goes down the second Charmander. So we are going to be able to Pidgeot for Charmeleon here, is what I would actually presume that Lincoln would grab. Just making sure that you don't have to use all your rare candies, because this Charmeleon is such a valuable asset to Charizard. Oh, Collapse Stadium. That makes sense. That makes sense. Getting rid of the Rotom V is quite big in this matchup. And this will be hard on Tyler to be able to deal with this prize map now. Tyler's prize mapping is now KO Zard, KO Pidgeot. But Lincoln's going to be able to respond, and there you go. So we are just going to be KOing the Zard here and going down to 4 prizes left. Okay, so the goal for Tyler this turn, I think, is to just KO the active Zard and try to set up another Zard on the bench, because if you can set up another Zard on the bench, I actually do not see a way you could lose the game. Well, Okay, that's a bit too far. It would be really hard to lose the game, and all you would need is a justified gloves. Because the only reason that you can't attach justified gloves to something on the bench is because, well, actually, there might just be a world where you can attach justified gloves to the bench Charizard EX, because if they are bossing the Charizard EX, then that means you still have a Pidgeot and a Charizard to boss their Pidgeot, and then you're winning the game. So, Tyler's in a pretty good spot here still. Okay, using Quick Search. I think with Tyler's hand here, I think this is a Iono, maybe? Or a Draw Supporter? Because Tyler's hand is not very good at all. It was Counter Catcher, Luminion, Lost Vacuum, and like 2 other cards, I think. There might not have even been a Lost Vacuum, but I'm pretty sure there was a Luminion, a Forest Seal Stone, a Counter Catcher. And you do not want to really be benching Luminion in this situation, because then you're just going to be able to KO the Luminion. And then after KOing the Luminion, they're going to go down to 2 prize cards left. And then you're going to have to swing back at something. It's going to be pretty weird to bench the Luminion. Good play by Tyler, putting down the Forest Seal Stone onto the Jirachi so that you can thin out that card. If you're not going to be using it very much, if there's not a high chance of using it, it's probably better to thin it out. But it's a good heads-up play, but I do think you should keep it in the deck. Because then you can draw Rotom and then play Arven to grab the Forest Seal Stone. So Arven is essentially search your deck for an item and any card you want. Because it's just going to grab the Forest Seal Stone. So there you go, Charizard coming up and KOing this active Zard. What is Lincoln trying to do here? I think Lincoln is trying to... I think Lincoln tries to either Iono Gust the Pidgeot, or he tries to Iono Justified Gloves KO the Zard. I think you have to actually just I think you KO the active Zard, because there is a higher chance that Tyler finds there is a lower chance. Okay, wait, I have to regain my train of thought. So if you boss the Pidgeot here and then you go down to 2 prizes, then all Charizard needs, if you counter catch your Iono, then all Charizard needs off of an Iono is an Arven or a Justified Gloves to win the game. But if you KO the Zard and they still have Pidgeot down, Tyler will then need a Justified Gloves, a Rare Candy, and a Zard. And 2 of those things can be grabbed off of an Arven, so it might actually be worth to KO the Pidgeot. Because then you still just need the 1-card combo, but it's without Pidgeot. So with the Pidgeot being able to grab the Arven, then you're able to grab 2 of the 3 cards you need, and with the hand that Tyler has, then, well, no, because you're Ionoing anyway. Let's see how Lincoln plays this out, but I think if I had to make the decision, I would Iono. No, I don't even know if I would. It's a very weird situation to play. I think I would probably Iono the Pidgeot. It's okay, we're bossing. Okay, so now we just have to hope that there was no Justified Gloves here. That's all that Lincoln can do. If that was all that was in his hand, then I think that was the correct play by Lincoln. I have to think about that one more. That's a really tough situation. But I think I was about to figure it out, but then Lincoln KO'd. I think you Iono Counter Catcher the Pidgeot if you have the resources to, because with a Pidgeot, you can grab an Arven or the other cards you need. So then that means that you can draw any of the 3 cards you need and then Pidgeot for Arven, or you can draw Arven and then Pidgeot for the other card you need. It's a weird situation, but I think I would have Counter Catcher Iono the Pidgeot. Sorry for the ramble. But Tyler here, all you need is a Justified Gloves, but his hand didn't have the cards to be able to do it. So we're just going to research, and we need this Justified Gloves. So this is a situation where this is why I would have liked to have seen Forest Seal Stone. So Forest Seal Stone allows you to have more outs in this deck. It allows you to hit Luminion and Forest Seal. Is Luminion gone? No, Luminion's not gone. So then with Forest Seal Stone, you could have went Ultra Ball for Luminion, Forest Seal Stone, grab the Justified Gloves. Or you could have preemptively benched Rotom, but I think that was the wrong play. I don't think if you have Forest Seal Stone, you research and you bench the Rotom. because if you miss, then you just have a 2-prizer that they easily KO. And that would be detrimental to the board state. So Tyler here is not able to get the Justified Gloves. From what I can see, without this Justified Gloves, that makes this situation way worse for Tyler. That makes this situation almost unwinnable, because Lincoln will hit the boss's orders and will Justify Gloves and KO the Zard. There is no way for Tyler to remove this Charizard from the board, so that will just mean that Lincoln can boss and Pidgeot for the Justified Gloves. Tyler's position is really bad, because no matter what Tyler can do, Lincoln can just grab whatever card he needs to hit the combo. It is much harder to disrupt a combo when there is a card that hits half the combo on the board, and that is Pidgeot. So Lincoln here will just quick search for the Justified Gloves, and we will be going into a game 3. So yes, we will see this Justified Gloves, and we will be able to KO this Zard. That is game 3. I think Tyler, hopefully Tyler goes second here, but from what I can tell, I don't know how much time there is left in the round. And when you don't know how much time there is left in the round, you kind of just need to formulate a plan on how you're going to win with the amount of time you have. So let's just assume here that there is a limit, that there is a small amount of time. Lincoln has to be thinking, okay, how am I going to be getting enough attacks in to win the game? There is a lot of shuffling here. Holy, that is using a lot of time, but sorry, not part of the regular conversation. In this situation, you need to be forming a plan on how am I going to win with the very limited amount of turns I have left. I think Lincoln's way to win here, going first, is to just try and get a turn 2 Zard going. So that kind of just means that you have to just do whatever you can to get that going. If that means benching Rotom and Luminion, then you have to do it. Because with this limited amount of time, there might not even be enough time for Tyler to KO these two 2-prizers and something else. So you just need to make sure you are fully set up. This hand from Lincoln is looking pretty good for that plan. You're just able to Ultra Ball the Vacuum in this arena for the Rotom, draw 3 cards, and then you're going to be able to get a turn 2 Pidgeot here. I would like to see a more fast decision from Lincoln. I think at that point, you just have to be like, okay, I trust my gut, I'm just going to throw away Vacuum. In that position, you cannot be wasting time in these kind of situations. There is such a limited amount of time left that you just have to be making decisions at a extremely accelerated pace. I think the players now, they called time and they realized that there was no real way to win the game in the amount of turns that they have left. So they are just showing that they cannot win. So that match does end up in a tie. Don't go anywhere though. Round 3 is coming up.